Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your astro intuitive forecast and read for the new moon that is happening on May 15th, 2018 at roughly, let me check my chart, actually 7:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time exactly. So I don't know where you're tuning in from your area within the globe, but go ahead and check the time of the chart within your time zone and you'll be able to see when the moon is going to be exact. Now, when it comes, I get this question all the time when it comes to working with the energy of the moon. Does it have to be that exact moment? No, me personally, I wait until it's the night of, and then I start working my magic or setting intention or what have you, whatever ritual it is that I'm going to do during that time. For some people, you have, your lives are busy. I get it. You have like 24 to 48 hours to work with real potent energy of that moon, whether it be a new or a full or whatever the case is. Now, this new moon, I said in my video that I just uploaded, where I was talking about the changes that are happening this week, it is really actually so potent, and it really acts as a full-blown, complete and utter shift that is happening in my life, in your life, in all of our lives, and we're going to start to see this change. Now, what I said in the video that I just uploaded about this week ahead was not only did the changes that are being made during this new moon and this week, do they impact you now, they impact you for like legit moving forward into the unknown of your life, whatever that is out there for you. It's going to be a complete fresh break. It's going to be complete fresh energy, and that could literally be anything. So there's multiple things that I need you guys to be aware of as we're talking about this new moon, because I don't want you to miss any details, and I don't want you to come back and be like, okay, well, this happened, Jess, can you explain it? And in all honesty, it's different for everybody. These astro and intuitive reads are for a general audience, so I set the intention as I'm saying the message that whoever needs to hear it and whatever needs to be heard, let it be heard, let it be known. For everyone else, I just invite you to work with me one-on-one with an astro or tarot or intuitive reading, and the links for that are down in my bio. But let's go ahead and get started in talking about this new moon. So there are a lot of events, a lot of astrological events that happen that kind of act as a catalyst to put you right here in the now. As you're watching this video, or whenever you're watching this video, or when the new moon is happening or when it occurs, and what is triggered in your life after this new moon, all of what we have experienced within the last year and all of what we've experienced this year so far is going to shift and change as a direct result of this new moon and, of course, Uranus moving to the sign of Taurus. Now, it's no coincidence that Uranus, this huge planet that rules change, innovation, and shift, and fresh energy, and new beginnings, and freedom, is moving into the sign of Taurus. The same time we have this new moon in the sign of Taurus. It's not a synchronistic event. It's perfect. It's divine. Also, I'm not going to go too far into the details of what's going on this week, because that's all in the video before, and I'm trying not to make my videos like an hour long, but even though there's so much information. Mars moves into the sign of Aquarius this week, roughly around the time of the new moon, and Aquarius is actually ruled by the planet Uranus. So there's a lot of fresh energy that is happening, not only global on a grand scale, but personally in your life, in your private life. So that's some things that you need to look out for. Now, Taurus is different for everyone. The energy is relatively the same for all of us, but it kind of manifests itself differently. And also, Taurus rules a certain area within your chart. Yes, your chart. It doesn't matter if you don't have planets that fall in the sign of Taurus within your natal chart. Still, Taurus rules an area, a house is what we call it, us astrologers. It rules a house within your chart. So it does have an impact. It doesn't matter if you're an Aquarius. It doesn't matter if you're an Aries. It doesn't matter if you're a Virgo. Taurus falls somewhere significant within your chart. We all have it. So you definitely want to check to see what Taurus rules, because that's where you're going to start to see this energy building and brewing. Now, what I can see and what I want you guys to be aware of is the fact that Uranus is so unexpected. Anything can happen. anything can and will happen with this planet. It's almost impossible for us to kind of put our finger down and say, this is what Uranus is going to bring. Even as intuitive readers, we have to be honest with our clients or whoever it is that we're reading for, whether it be for ourselves or for others, and say like, okay, yes, I see this for you, but there's also a lot of other things that can happen. Now, I know if you're on the receiving end of that message, you're like, okay, well, I want to know what that is. Okay, well, I'm telling you that Uranus rules surprise and innovation, and we really can't bottle it. We can't really predict it. That's the whole point of Uranus, is you can't predict what it is that it's going to do. And I can hear you guys being like, okay, well, do I need to be scared or do I need to be confident? Now, if you're brand new to my channel, then I'm going to go ahead and answer that question for you. If you're an old friend, then you already know the answer, right? So there's no planet, there's no transit, there's nothing that should completely derail you and take your power away. Negative planets or negative aspects can create and will create positive results if you know how to work your magic. Positive planets and positive placed, transiting planets can create a positive result or a negative result. It's up to you to be able to create alchemy. It's up to you to create magic and to work with the energy and the elements so that you can make them work for you. When people find trouble with this, or when people find themselves hitting a brick wall or seeing things happen, it's because they're trying to force something and they're not working with what the energy and the elements are giving to them. It's like someone walking through the desert and be like, no, I can do this without water. Like, no, you can't. The elements are too harsh. You have to have a tank of water with you in order to make it through. If you don't have water, you will dehydrate. The elements are strong, but you are stronger. Be prepared. And that's what, when you look at these charts, no matter what's going on, it gives you the power from me telling you what it is that you can expect and what it is that you can see and how to work with it. It gives you the power to be prepared so that you're not caught off guard. So if I'm telling you that this new moon is going to usher in brand newness into your life, and that it's really up to you to remain flexible and to stop being so rigid, then this is the time for you to stay open and to trust what it is that the universe is working out for you. Now, for a lot of us, this new moon is happening in the sign of Taurus. Taurus rules values in general. Taurus rules values and security, aesthetic and comfort and luxury in a lot of ways. This is because Taurus is ruled by Venus and Taurus is ruled by Earth energy, and it's a very feminine sign, so it wants to receive, it wants to build, it wants to be able to predict. Taurus energy does not like when things get shifted and changed, but some things are outside of its control. Now, we realize that we're looking at the chart that this new moon is happening in the sign of Taurus. For some people, earth signs and water signs were like, oh, you know what? I will work with this really well. But again, Uranus is coming in and moving into the sign of Taurus, and things are being shook up. Things are being changed. Things are being shifted. And really what it is that I see is it's values, it's freedom, it's how we live our lives, it's what we allow in our space. In fact, one of the biggest intuitive messages that came to me as I was filming the last video for the week ahead was this energy of, and these words that said, detach from drama. Also, the second word that came to me was freedom. So keeping those things in mind, you know what? You have to kind of remove yourself sometimes from your expectations. Taurus energy, in a nutshell, doesn't really want to switch things up. It wants to kind of predict because it's trying to build something that is reliable in your life. But things are becoming aware and clear to you. What was once important is now shifting. We'll talk more about that in the video about Uranus moving into the sign of Taurus, because that's really ultimately, a huge message for all of us and also the globe. But our values are evolving, and what we relied on, or what we found stable and secure, might be pushed into a space during this time that we're being pushed into a new territory, uncharted territory. Now, like I said in the video with the week ahead, I said, you know what, when we start new things and we start a new adventure, it doesn't matter how excited you are for what's ahead. Sometimes, in a lot of ways, you have to leave certain things behind. And sometimes that creates feelings of emotions. It brings up and stirs emotions. You're having to release the old in order to make way for the new. And as excited as you are and as much faith as you have in the future, it can still trigger emotion within you. So those are things that I I want to bring in while I look at the chart, because I see that some of those emotions are absolutely going to be triggered. So much of you and so much of many of us wants to kind of stay in this, like, what we can predict, and wants to stay in a space that is consistent. And that makes sense. As human beings, we need security. We want to be able to, like, predict what's going to happen. Even if what it is that we're predicting is something negative, we at least know what's going to occur. Well, during this new moon, that idea is going to be tested. It's going to be it's evolving, it's shifting. What is important to you and what is valuable to you may no longer be. So the other thing that I see is that our action and the way that you react to certain things, the way that you move towards the things that are important to you, is going to completely shift. Mars rules our drive and our ambition. Mars is moving out of consistent and steady Capricorn into the sign of erratic and unpredictable, and think outside of the box, eccentric Aquarius. Mars is also going to be squaring off with Mercury, ruling our mind, our communication, how we express ourselves, and Uranus, the planet of surprise and unexpected development. Now, what happens during this time is, anything. Anything. This could be a total breakdown. This could be a total breakthrough. But either way, I can guarantee you it's an 85% chance that it is going to be spontaneous, and maybe something that it is that you weren't expecting, or that you didn't see coming. For some people, I have to warn you, especially if you're impulsive or reckless or irritable, that you really want to check yourself before you wreck yourself, literally, because Mars squaring Uranus during this time can create sudden accidents and sudden rash reactions to certain things that we just didn't see coming. They come out of left field. They're just so unpredictable. Now, how this can positively impact you and how you can work this for your highest and greatest good is when you are setting intentions for this Taurus new moon, focus on what you want. Focus on what you envision for yourself as far as lifestyle, everyday, predictability, stability, luxury, love, sensuality, and then also stay open to the feelings that it is that come to you. Because your feelings, Franklin, sorry guys, okay, your feelings act as a compass. Your feelings are speaking to you loud, like Franklin is barking at whatever it is that he's barking at. So they're constantly signaling to you. And when you have that feeling and you really want to kind of decipher, okay, this is how I'm emotionally feeling and this is what I'm intuitively feeling. When you're emotionally feeling negative or when you're emotionally feeling bad, it's because your body is telling you that something is off. Now, on the flip side, intuitively, you could be feeling something different, which says, yes, you may not feel comfortable, but I also need you to trust this. I need you to trust where you're at right now because you're in good hands and things are working their way out. So do you see the difference between emotional feeling and intuitive feeling? There's a direct difference, a very distinct difference between the two of those. And you have to take both of those into consideration. Probably more so your intuition. Because your intuition requires you to have faith in what it is that you're feeling, and your intuition is coming from a divine source, okay? So that's something that it is that I see. It's listening to your intuition and listen to your intuitive feeling, listen to your emotional feeling, and then acting upon that, making a decision upon that. Now, again, Sun and the Moon moving through the sign of Taurus, it says, look, you know what? You can't rush things. As much as we want to be, structured and stable, what I see is a person that has change happening all around them. It's like there's fires all around them, and they just stay still in that moment because they're clearing their mind, they're clearing their space, and they're figuring out what's the next step. Where do I go from here? And that could be, in this case, that's obviously like safety, but for others, it's like life is chaotic or there's a lot going on in our world around us. But even as the fires are blaring and blazing around us, there's a fire burning stronger within us. And we're going to listen to that and we're going to feel that, and then we're going to react upon that when the timing is perfect, precise. So I definitely see that. Venus is still moving through the sign of Gemini during this new moon. Venus is aspecting Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron just recently moved from Pisces, intuition, imagination, sensitivity, and like empathy, into the sign of Aries, which is all about me. I need to focus on me. What do I love? What do I want? What do I need? And Taurus energy is all about values. We sometimes look at money and we sometimes look at security and we look at it as a negative thing because we see people who lack money, or we see people who are greedy for money, and we see the negative reaction to that. But basically what Taurus reminds us is how important it is to have stability and security within our lives. And with this new moon, it can really open up a door of freshness when it comes to being able to attract and to have consistent in your life predictability, stability, commitment, something that is thriving and building all by itself. Now, when I was filming the last video for this week, the message that came to me, and I wrote it down, let me get that for you, was watch what it is that you put your energy on. If you're focusing and giving your energy to things, a certain thing, and you feel depleted at the end of that after you've given so much of yourself, you're giving your energy to the wrong thing. Now, you can give that same amount of energy to something that is ready to build and will serve you and thrive and be fertile, and then give that same amount of energy and get so much in exchange for that, because you know intuitively that the amount of energy that you exerted into that is going to come back to you. Maybe not right now, but it will eventually. So that's what Taurus says. This new moon is asking you to look at what is worthy of your investment. Value. Taurus rules the word value. I'm not going to give too much of myself, of my time, my energy, my effort into something that is not of value to me, or something that doesn't value me. So it's up to you to be in this space, to be open to what the universe is trying to tell you and to guide you. And that space is going to be fresh. It's going to be new. It's going to be different. It's going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone. Absolutely. The same thing is true for relationships. This is the new moon that is so perfect for new relationships, new energy within a relationship, money, value, job security, wealth, structure, stability, luxury, quality of life. All of these things are so important. Self-love, beauty, feeling confident about yourself, taking care of yourself, indulging and allowing yourself to reap the reward, the benefit, to bite into that juicy peach. If you spent all this time setting intention for this juicy, to grow this peach, and this peach is now on that tree, then pluck that peach and you eat it because you deserve it, and take your time enjoying it. Don't rush through that peach. Really sit in the sun and allow yourself to enjoy it, because you worked so hard. You worked so hard. Now, if you're at a point in your life where you're like, well, I don't have that juicy peach, Jess, that's fine. Set intention for it. This is the new moon to set intention for it. Again, love. Venus rules Taurus. And Venus rules relationships, love, value, money, aesthetic, beauty. So all of these things are very important during this new moon, and this is where you need to put your focus on. Higher quality of relationships, higher quality of relationship with yourself, your job, your career, and your finances. Set intention for reward, and don't be afraid of what's ahead and what that's going to look like. Yes, there's going to be some emotions that are connected with that. It is what it is. Anytime you start something new, there's a lot that kind of can scare us because we don't know. It's the unknown that we're walking into. Again, like I said before, we can be so excited about it, but we can also be so nervous and just not know. And like I said in my other video, so many of us are walking into this by ourselves because only we can do what we're doing the way that we do it. Or maybe what it is that we're setting intention for only applies to us or requires action on our end. Words are everything. Words are everything. Mercury is also moving through the sign of Taurus. It's so tangible. It takes thought and brings it down to earth. It takes a thought, the seed, and manifests itself. Taurus is the sign of manifestation. Mercury is being positively aspected by Saturn. Saturn is currently retrograde, but it's okay. It's totally okay because it's building up for long term. It's building up for long-term investments. You've had time to revisit and to evaluate what it is that you are investing yourself in and your commitments. And now that you know, now that you've taken this time, hopefully, especially if you've been watching my videos and you've been able to work with this energy and not against it, then now it's time for you to set the intention for what it is that you want now. Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion, is still sitting in the sign of Scorpio, asking you to dive into the deep, dark, intimate depths of your soul and your spirit and your passion. Jupiter rules expansion. Also, currently it's retrograde, but that's okay. It's totally okay because it allows you to be able to bite off amounts that you can chew. You know that quote that says, don't bite off more than you can chew? Well, in this case, it's like, well, nibble here, nibble here, nibble here. Also, the vertex point is being aspected. The vertex point is the point of fated encounters. Jupiter sitting directly on top of the vertex point. So these are things that are destined to happen, things that you're destined to ask for. You're meant to ask for more. You're meant to ask for new. You're meant to put yourself out there. Jupiter doesn't want you to stay in this little box. It wants you to get out and to explore and to set intention and to visualize the greatest. How good can it get for me? That's what I want. All right, my guys, I love you so much. That's what I see for this new moon. I hate to be so abrupt and cutting it close, but actually, no, let me stop. Venus rules relationships, love, beauty, aesthetic, value, money, sitting directly on top of part of fortune in the sign of Gemini. Part of fortune is our luck. It's the luck that can come in. Sometimes it pushes us, like it's the lessons that we have to learn sometimes are not the easiest, but even though they're not the easiest, they have the greatest value out of them. Like you get the greatest value out of them. You get the greatest reward simply because you weren't afraid of feeling bad within that moment. You felt emotional, you felt sensitive, you felt like you had to release. There were certain things that were happening that were being triggered, but you went through it and now you get the reward. Venus is 100% tied into the energy of this new moon because Venus rules Taurus. So all of these things are working together. Like I said, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on this new moon because I've got other videos to focus on, and I feel like you guys get my drift. I feel like you guys get what it is that I'm putting down. But this is the moon for relationships, security, thinking about your finances, your job and your career, your home environment, self-love, and being able to be abundantly attracting, to be receiving. All right, so let me know how this feels for you. Let me know how you'll be setting your intentions. I personally will be working the oil that night of the new moon. Of course, this is going to be the new moon for me 100%. So I'm absolutely going to be setting my intention. One of the I think it was a full moon in Scorpio. I knew it was going to be powerful for me, and that it was. And this is that new moon now where it's like, okay, I came out of that, and now I'm moving into this. So this is another time where I'm going to be setting intentions, really important intentions, and making oils for myself and also for my clients, and that will be in my shop for those of you guys that need it, and the links for that will be down below. Until then, we'll talk to you soon. I love you. Bye.